Good morning, everyone, and all of the people who are also on Spaceship Earth with me. It is I, Guy, and we are having yet another day of day things to do. And here we are being us. Oh, yeah. Huh. That is interesting. Huh. Comma. That is weird. And legally ambiguous. There you go. My sister. Hey there. Lol. Lol, Jiff. I don't speak Greek, though. I'm sorry. I can do translate, though. See what you're up to there. See if I can figure that out. Well, hello, you Greek people. It's good to see you as well. Welcome to our stream. Hello, latest one. All right. Wait. There we go. Let's see if this is good. This may be bad. So I apologize if it's bad. There we go. Okay. It may be, who knows? Might be okay, might be bad. Google is sometimes okay, sometimes not. But welcome to the stream. This is a buddy stream, so if you have work to do, you can do the work while I do my work, and then we work together, and I'll help you stay on task, and you can help me stay on task too. So you can do your ritual, and that'll be awesome. Let me know what happens and how it turns out, and I will keep doing my work, which is right now apparently sorting my dad's stuff. So that is what we're doing. And if my Greek is bad, it's because of Google. And if my Greek is good, it's because I'm awesome. I doubt my Greek is good. I'm just saying. So. It's probably confusing. Good morning, Bradley. So far, so good. I'm sorting a whole bunch of papers that I took a picture of. And so these are, my father passed away in 2001, or 2021, sorry. And so I took all of these, rather than take all of these papers home from my sister's house, I just took pictures of them. And so now I'm trying to sort them out and figure out which ones they belonged in. Oh, thank you. But he lived a good life. He lived a good life. He was a good dad. and I miss him a lot, but it's all good. It's all good. He lived a good life. If only he didn't smoke, because smoking got him. So, yeah, it's what really matters. So yeah, that's what I'm doing now, is going through all these papers. I found a bunch of genealogy paperwork, which my sister does genealogy. And so I am going through and making sure that all the genealogy paperwork comes from here and goes into the right folders in our genealogy section. And it's interesting. We had a cousin who was in Vietnam, and apparently he was missing. And I'm not exactly sure why both my mom and my dad were interested in this cousin, because his picture shows up on both sides. Now, I come from a little town in Texas, so it's entirely plausible that my mom was just interested because she was a friend and everybody knew. But it was, but looking through all these papers, they never knew what happened to this guy. Well, mom never knew because she passed away in 2002. But it looks like dad got the paperwork later where they found his body, his remains, in the 90s. He was a POW. And so they found his remains, and though that was sad, at least it closes that loop. And now I know what happened to that individual, which was a big deal for them. Seems like my family really wanted to know what happened. So, wheels in motion. Okay, that's not anything belongs to the genealogy side. That belongs to the genealogy side, though. There's a lot of weird genealogy paperwork here. From, I guess this must have been 1980s? I'm guessing. That's what I'm looking at here. So the Quasar Art Collective is a group of artists that get together, and we either help each other work on... Oh, no, it's fine. This is actually kind of mindless. Sadly, I'm going to have to move. I'm starting college and things like that in January, and I don't want to take all this paperwork with me. So I'm moving, and that's fine. So I'm just taking pictures of a lot of this paperwork and then sorting it into folders and stuff like that, and it's shared with my sister who lives in a different state. But the Quasar Art Collective is a group of artists that get together, and we either try to keep each other on task, which is what this stream is, or we help each other. If you've got questions about how to do art, maybe you have questions about, how to start art. We all work on comics mostly in this group, but that doesn't mean we don't have other fields. I actually am working on a comic right now, although not today, obviously. Today we're doing other things, but here's an example of some of the comics that we're working on. I'm doing the one on the far left there, the Bellatrix Rising one, and that's a space opera is what it is, but it's sci-fi, so it's hard sci-fi as much as I can get it to be. The middle one there is another artist who sometimes frequents here. It's Armageddon Divinity. You can find all of these top three on globalcomics.com. So just go to globalcomics.com and search for Bellatrix Rising or search for Armageddon Divinity. Sometimes we have an artist on here named Jackson, and they do God's Bane, which is the one on the right. The two on the bottom, you have to order from their websites, but there are also people who often are here. Pepper is here often doing watercolor, and Raph is here from time to time, who's working on a comic called Pia. Oh, yeah. Sure. I mean, well, thank you. So one of the tasks that Quasar Art Collective has is that I broadcast from 9 to 11 most days. So today's a Friday, and tonight I want to go hang out with my friends. So I won't broadcast tonight from 9 to 11, but it's 9 to 11 Mountain Time. And it's every 9 to 11 right now, until school starts, at which time it's getting questionable. But we try to keep having everybody here, and it's just 2 hours, 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours at night, and we do whatever work is on our plate. Your PST. So yes, 10, 9, 8. Yes. No, 9, 9, 8. Yes. So it'd be 8 to 10 for you at night, and then 8 to 10 a.m. So right now it's 9:47 a.m. here in Denver. So if you are looking at your clock and it says 10:47, then or 8:47, then perfect. So yeah, we broadcast twice a day. And like today is boring, but yesterday I was working on a different piece because I got tired of doing this. I can only sort stuff for so long before I kind of get over it. You know what I mean? So I'm going to go to where I was working on. I'll show you what I was working on yesterday. Maybe I'll work on that instead today because I'm not ecstatic about this anyway. So like yesterday I was working on this piece, which I'm not a real baseball fan. I just wanted to get some dynamic action going. And so I picked a picture out of my morgue. I don't think any of these is my morgue. It might be my morgue here. Let me bring this up here and I'll show you. So here was the original piece, right? And I really liked the pose. And so I was working on that pose and I was pushing it. And I really wanted to push it because this is not bad, but I really wanted to push. Right? That's what I was thinking too. I was like, the original picture was close, but I wanted to push it. So I pushed it a little further and pushed its dynamics further. And so that was yesterday's project. And then today I'm back to sorting stuff again. So, I will help if you want to do stuff or draw or whatever. Yeah, that was the other thing. I mean, like her line of action goes through from the baseball down through this leg, but I moved that line of action this way in a more horizontal area. So made it a little bit better, I think. Also makes it seem like she's really going to throw that ball. Whereas this, though cute, I don't think she's going to throw that ball as far. This she's going to throw that ball. It's going somewhere. So if you want to work on something right now, that's also something we can do. So let me give you the Discord as well. There's a Discord out there, but I have to load Discord for it. So give me just a second because I kill Discord. Otherwise I get a ton of notes. Hang on. No. I keep hitting edit channel. I don't want to edit the channel. I just want the invite. Oh, well, I mean, technically you're already in the group. Yeah, let me put you here. We've got a Discord server that we're working on. So you can join there. And that's how you put your artwork up when you're done. Right? Exactly. So easy. Well, but it's compensatory with our compensation. So I mean, but after a year or so, we'll double your pay. So there's that. So anyway. Yeah. No, it's we used to have a group here, and you'll if you ever are on here when the opening credits roll, right? Exactly, fuzzy on that open math. If you're ever here when the open credits roll, it shows all of the group that is here in Denver, and that group was called Red Team Go, and it was designed to do a number of things. One, it was designed to be a group where we could all get together and share information. Um, we were starting to do comics, and the people who were doing comics had done things like they started their comic and drew it on 8.5 by 11 paper or whatever. And we were like, well, okay, that's not bad, but it is not going to print well. You'll need to work on that and stuff. And they were like, oh, really? How? And it was starting to occur to us that so many people didn't know how to do these things. So the group was founded to help people learn how to do these things. So it's a bunch of us who've either published or been published. Like I actually have sent my comics out to print. So this is actually a physical copy of my comic right here. And I keep it with me just so that I can say stuff like I've actually printed my comics. So something. That's back there. And so the whole group was designed to do that. And then it kind of got mired in like trying to become a company. Hey, Peugeot, long time no see. It got kind of mired in being a company. And when it got mired, it was a little harder for us to keep going. And then the group kind of fell apart. So Quasar Art Collective was born out of the ashes of that, as we only help people. We're not trying to be a printing company or a publishing company. No money gets entangled, because we realize that as soon as the money gets involved and everything gets entangled, everybody gets mad. And so we work really hard to not have any money involved. I mean, like, you can pay the individual artists in our group and stuff like that, but there's no company underneath it, so that it's not like somebody has to come up with a payroll or stuff like that. Yeah. So that's sort of what goes on in our group. So we're now dedicated to helping each other make money if we can, but no money will exchange hands. So that's kind of where we're going. When I talked about requesting like 2 weeks ago, maybe. I have no earthly idea what you're saying there, Peugeot. Yes. So that should be the Discord for the collective. It's called the Duck Pond. Is that you there being? Yeah, that's your username. I will say hi and wave with a mouse, apparently. I don't know. Discord still confuses me. Usually I do that, which is a lot easier to deal with. So you're in the duck pond right now, which is this right-hand side of our screen over there. That's the duck pond, because it's Quack, right? So that's really funny. We were all together and we're like, we should come up with a different name so we're not identified as Red Team Go directly. It's okay to say that we were from Red Team Go, but we have sort of a different mission. So we were like, okay, well, what should we call ourselves? And we're like, I don't know. Let's come up with a good acronym. And we're like, how about Quack? Why Quack? I don't know. Ducks are silly. Okay. So then we were like, well, now we have to come up with words that fit Quack. So it's Quasar Art Collective. So it's QUACK, but the U and the K are all lowercase. So yeah, the Discord server is where we post stuff. You'll see in that server, there's the art share space, the cattails. And that's where you can talk about, you can post these art in here and cult thumbnails. Oh, you know what I should do is I should post the, how do I post the thingy? Because there should be, oh, there we go. Push the button that says pictures. And I should post the picture of my baseball girl. Because that's cool. Because it turned out nice. There we go. Call this one Wind Up. And then that way I can post it. Because, well, it won't let me post. Why won't it let me post? Okay. Is this because I need to look at that first? That'd be weird. Huh. I can't post. Well, okay, so theoretically you could post. That's weird. Huh. Well, Colton could post. Why can't I post? Well, now I'm doing all the things. Like clicking buttons. If you're talking to me, I can't read it because I have to cover the screen to figure out what's going on. I'm like trying to figure out why I can't post this picture. Especially since I'm the admin. Like, I shouldn't have a problem. Is there a rule to the size? Let's try that one. No? Oh. Oh, I see. Because it doesn't have a title. I get it now. I get it now. Now it works. I am still relatively new to Discord. There we go. So Discord and I still not quite sure what we're doing. All right. So that's what story. Why do we have no music again? Let's put the music back on. Oh, I just can't hear the music. That's why. That's not what we want. We want. Nope. Oh, closing everything. Okay. We fixed this problem. So, Bradley, let's talk about what you're doing today. What are you working on today? What's your plan? Yeah. Oh, yeah. That sounds good, actually. So you're working on a graphic novel. That's big. That's a big project. That's what we're good for, right? We don't need proof of what you're doing. So I just so you know that you're not expected to post pictures or anything like that. So if you're working on something that is under an NDA or anything like that, just let us know. So, but we will try to help you stay on task, certainly. So that will work. So how much? Where are you, and how much, in a percentage wise? How big is the graphic novel? What's the size you're working on? Yeah. Oh, you're on world building. Oh, that's cool. I'm particularly attracted to world building. I'm just saying. Gonna release in volumes? Yeah, mine too. We're dealing with a huge, massive project too on my side, and it's gonna get super slow really quick here because I am. What program do you use to do the graphic art side? There you go. Oh, Nightbot has triggered. We're shocked, folks. Shocked. That's for Kan, who's not here. Just so we know. Nice. Just making sure. Do you use Pro or EX? Fair. The only reason I say that is because I am particularly fond of the layout functions of EX, which allows you to lay out the pages really nicely. So, you can go, it shows the entire comic here, and you can just take any one of these and just open it up, and it works. So, just looks really good and really solid. But it also keeps you set for print so that when you go to the print side, it's ready to go. So I don't know if you're using that, and if you're not using this function, but you have EX, it's probably a good thing to use. Oddly, I don't need them today. So a 3D view of your, like using 3D maquettes, or do not save. There was no changes. Oh, there's no changes. I don't understand what you mean by a 3D view. Because this is pretty much it laid out. Like, here's the front cover, here's the back cover, yada yada yada. So Well, if you are running Clip, you can probably find this under New. If you were to click New. Oh, well, I mean, not saying it doesn't. Yeah, it may. It very much may. It very well may be that it shows that. I'm kind of curious though. I've got the top of the line version, so if it can show it, it will show it here. Like there are things in here that I'm not sure how to make it work. Like I know that there's a way to write the script in here. Right? It's probably buried in 30 menus. You're probably right. Binding process? Like this is the one that I don't understand. The story editor. Right? I have no idea. Wow. It's interesting that the words are out of order. This is the one I don't understand how it works. Show all signed view palette. Page manager, previous page. And clearly it doesn't understand either. Because this is 1, 2. This 3, 4. So they're out of order. No, same place, same location. Are you coming in under Can or are you coming in under GS Davis Art on Twitch? Because we use a restreamer here, and the restreamer streams to multiple different locations at the same time. Yeah, so yeah, it's definitely you're fine staying on Can's channel. It will still get here at tonight's stream when I start working in at 9 o'clock tonight, or not tonight. It won't be tonight because tonight's Friday. I keep forgetting, but Sunday night. So we broadcast from Sunday night through Friday morning most of the time. So yeah, I kind of wonder if I can just like take this and move it. Like, can I move this? How do I move one of these? I guess I can't. Can I? No. Using the movie tool? No. Okay. I'm just wondering. So Can's just one of the artists that work with us on this team. I'm just curious all the time because everybody comes in through Can's stream. And nobody ever comes in during my stream. And I'm like, or from my side. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? Can and I set up our Twitch accounts pretty much identically. I mean, Can has been doing it longer than me, but yeah. Right? The power of the algorithm. Batch export? No. Open? New? No. Open Clip Studio. What if I just... Is this back to Clip or what's the story? No. Just brings up my loader. Okay, well, I don't need that. Okay. Maybe just close it like that. Okay, well, so the story editor is one that I still don't quite grasp. Like, can I copy it? How do I work the story editor? It's a light table. Click, touch. I don't have touch controls on my monitor. I'm like, why does it have touch? I don't have touch controls. That's funny. There we go. Make sure that my tools are set right. So yeah, I really like the tools here, but now I'm going to have to look up the thing that we're talking about, right? Because we were like, well, but it said. It does have 3D models, but that's not what it. But I don't see anything about making it preview the thing in 3D. How to preview your comic book in 3D. Oh well, no, there is a way to do it. Hang on, let's see. How to make a 3D preview of your book. But it's an export. Oh. Huh. Check this out. It really does do that. Hang on. This will be good. Creating data to check the finish. Yep, that's how you know this was written in Japanese first. Now we're going to figure out what you were talking about, Bradley. We're halfway through. I have no idea what it's doing, but this is fascinating. I mean, I can see it highlighting pages. So it's doing something. It's paginating in some way. We're almost there. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, this is cool. Oh, this is cool. Oh, God. Oh, Bradley, you have totally changed my world. Thank you. Because this is way cooler than it needs to be. Wow, look at that. That looks awesome. Oh, this is just nifty. Now, how do I show the back? Saddle stitch or side stitch? Probably saddle stitch, right? Yeah. Oh, this is actually good too because you can see what will get caught in the gutter. Yeah. Well, that was fun. Oh, that's all right. You're good, Brent. Don't worry. Hey, Bradley just showed us like a cool thing, which we didn't know could work. So we're actually running just fine. We're just sitting here going, "Hey, this thing works! Look at us!" It's pretty cool. And it did work too. Man, that looks nice. Yeah, well, that's saddle stitch versus side stitch, I think. And by the way, hey, some user, how are things over in your part of the universe? Is it starting to get cold yet over there? I'm always curious because, like, today was the first really overcast day we've had in Denver. It's been in the upper, well, it's been in the upper 20s, early or lower 30s for, I mean, pretty much since August. So we've been pretty warm, but today it's only 9 and it's dropped down all the way to 9 and it's kind of holding at 9, which is wonderful. It's really, really nice because we don't have that much humidity. So 9 isn't so bad. Also, Bradley, just so you're aware, some user is in Europe, so I tend to speak Celsius. It's not really 9 degrees Fahrenheit here. It's 9 degrees Celsius. So, um, I usually, the majority of the people who join us are from all over the world, so I tend to use metric. I spent time in Japan teaching English, and so your cabin's up at about 19. Gotcha. However, I agree with some user. Looking at it this way does show that when we go to the Tankobon or the graphic novel version, cool. It's just a point of fact. It is not, in fact, 9 degrees Fahrenheit out there, but it is now finally dropped down to I might take a light jacket with me when I go about walking about in town and stuff like that. So we're at light jacket weather. So anyway, I don't know if you were here, some user, when we started this, but Bradley had said something to the effect of that Clip Studio will show a 3D version of your book. And hey, Brent. And so he was saying it can show a 3D version of your book. And I was like, I've never heard of that. I've heard of the 3D maquettes, but I've never heard of a 3D version of the book. And so I went looking online real quick and found a YouTube video. It talked about exporting your book as a 3D file so you can read it. And I'm like, huh. And so I went and clicked it. And sure enough, here's a 3D version of my book. And it's like, I really think that's fascinating and cool, you know? So, anyway, definitely a cool thing to be able to see that. So, we have learned something new today about Clip Studio. And I agree with some user on this one. Some user had observed that it was clipping the right side of the pages in there. So when we get to perfect binding, we're going to need to make sure we remember to move the pages out just a little bit so that the pages don't get caught in the center of the binding. We'll need to give more room to one side or the other. Since they're already done in tankobon size, I'll have to resize them anyway to make them work, but it'll be good. Right, exactly. It's extremely useful. So Redley is working on a graphic novel as well, and so they're going to join us some of the time while we're doing this, and just we'll keep them on target, and they'll keep us on target, and that'll work. So I was scanning and sorting a little while ago, but then I decided to do something useful and help somebody. So much prefer to do that. So now I'm in here helping Redley. That's a thing. So there we go. It is 10:22 a.m. here in the Mile High City. Oh, I haven't cleaned my monitor in a long time. Yeah, right? No, Brent. It is 10:22. 10:22. Bradley, Brent is in Kansas, so this is going to be right. No, Bradley. Also, us and Quack, we are easily entertained. That's what we are. We are all easily entertained. Now we need some user to say no. Actually. Oh, man. Because I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's, what is it, 4:23 in the afternoon? Yeah. Yep, 18:23. 18. No, actually. Like I said, we're all so easily entertained. If we had somebody in Japan, they'd be like, no, actually, it's 1:24 a.m. Let's see, what else? I'm going to actually try to see if I can't figure out how to make the story thing work like it's supposed to. Oh, you can apparently change its angle? Really? That I didn't know. How do you change the angle? Oh, yeah, it's a fingers function. Well, okay. Now I gotta try that. Which apparently we have to do it all over again. Can't just save it. Oh, it did save it. Oh, good. Oh, yeah, there we go. That allows us to see the spine. Hey, Valve. Which, if you put it in perfect, that looks a lot better. That does allow a lot more. This is actually useful for me because one of the things that I had a problem with issue 1 was right here on the spine, where this didn't match the other side. See, the sort of the streaks here didn't match the other side. which wasn't a big deal, but it was something I didn't like. Okay. A friend was discussing if it's me too, that too, as opposed to, oh, two. So yeah, it's the TOO. So TO is to a direction. I'm going to the store. TWO is the number two, one, two. TOO is also. So me as well. Me too. So it's TOO. There's two O's. So, yep. Right? Like this is great for just making sure everything fits properly in there. It's very useful. It's kind of cool too. It really does kind of feel like you're messing with a 3D version of this. You're welcome. Hey, Bishimoda. Hmm. So it's a mistake that seems to happen a lot now with the younger generation. I'm seeing them use the TO instead of the TOO. And the problem is that I was an English teacher, so I read that as going to a direction. See, like here, you can already see it. It looks like Bennett is falling into the spine. It is useful also, though, for whenever I'm looking at full bleeds. Like this is supposed to be a full bleed, but it didn't bleed off the bottom. Right. So it's kind of cool because now I can examine it. Like this is full bleed to the top and to the right side. So that's kind of neat. And that's why some dude will travel 2 weeks in space and why I need more coffee. But yeah, when we perfect bind this, it's interesting because it looks like it's open more when it's perfect bind as opposed to saddle stitch. Huh. It's still useful. This is an extremely useful tool. Thank you, Bradley. No, yeah. That's the problem I'm noticing is that to and which are confused a lot. Things like that. They're called homophones, and they're words that sound the same but have different meanings. And we have a number of them. I mean, technically speaking, there is a difference between the and the, but it's very fine and very few people use it. So it's that one probably is kind of fading away as time goes on. Um, and it's very, very small. So I don't fault anybody for missing those two. But yeah, two and two, I see people messing that one up all the time. So they say too much. And my brain reads that as in, like, oh, you are heading to a place called much, and that's how I read it with my brain. And my brain gives me a weird thought on that one. So yeah, that's cool. I don't know why. You can see what it looks like sitting on your table. Not very long. This would also be good when you perfect bind and need to figure out how the spine looks, because this will show you whether your spine work is correct or not. Moreover, it does tell me what goes via spine here, what it takes. So it's taking the cover and putting it on the spine, not the back and putting it up on the spine. So that's useful. Coop. Hey guys, it's been a year since I released this issue. Right. I don't feel like looking up the Unicode for it. No, I get it. That works perfectly. No, because you can say the apple. The delineation is between proper nouns and improper nouns, I believe. So, but we use it often for emphasis, is what we use it. You know, the apple was tasty, but the orange was really good. You know, you'll use it as like an emphasis to illustrate. That's kind of colloquially how it's evolved too. You know, I'm not just Guy Davis. I'm the Guy Davis. You know, whatever. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make necessarily. There's a lot of weird delineation problems with it. So there's that. However, I don't, like I said, I don't find that to be a fault per se. There is though a and an, which I think that some user has down just fine, which is you use and in front of a vowel. Which if you say it, you can see why. Because if you said a apple, it becomes hard to say. You have sort of a guttural stop. But if you say an apple, it can be all kind of one sound and it all merges together very well. So that's really why we use an in front of vowels, is it's a vocabulary issue. It's for spoken English. Okay, well, that was cool. We had this wonderful little discussion between this and that, and which, by the way, Bishimoto is correct. The and the is definitely has been traditionally used before vowels. The difference between the apple and the apple. Um, However, that's blurred because it doesn't interrupt English speaking like an apple would or a apple, which would interrupt the flow of discussion. So because of that, that part is delineating. Um, it's falling. That usage is not widely used anymore, and usually English teachers won't bother with it. So. Huh. That's kind of funny. It cracks me up when the language evolves into something else and becomes, in and of itself, something different. The words start to evolve out or whatever. That cracks me up every time. That's interesting. Overusing though as a suffix works. Yeah, we use though as a softener, definitely to bring the weight of the words down. So I can see that. But if you overuse it, it loses its power. So you don't want to overuse the word too much. Yeah. What they mean is just a conjunction on the end of the word, but I understood where they were headed. Okay, I'm going to real quickly because it's driving me crazy. My stool that I sit on right here is now down to just wood. It's so old that the seat doesn't work. So I'm going to run downstairs real quick, pour more coffee in my coffee, and get one of the pads off of one of the chairs downstairs. I'll be right back. Problem, of course, is that yes. All right. Unfortunately, or fortunately, this stool is ancient, so really need to. I think I've had this stool since I was in my 20s. It's going to be thrown away before we move to the new location. But for right now, it is still here and my butt is falling asleep when I sit on this stool. So trying to find something that's easier on my putting my legs to sleep and stuff like that. That's not cool. So yes. So technically speaking, some user, the term you're looking for is one that I don't think you'd know directly because it's called a subordinating conjunction, and that's like or though or things like that where you have a dependent clause and an independent clause that are stuck together. But it's a conjunction. It's the same kind of thing as and or but or, but it's we call it a subordinating conjunction because it's not connecting two pieces of a sentence together. You're effectively connecting two sentences or two thoughts together. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you kind of have to be an English geek to know those things because it's like at that point in time you're getting either that or an English teacher, right? Because you have to use those terms. You have to know you're looking for a subordinating conjunction. But that's where like comes in as well, because it's like a big thing, and like I really thought it was cool, and like it's you know what I mean. Like that's a subordinating conjunction because it's trying to connect the thoughts together, but it's also pausing the discussion, and the two sentences could hold their weight by themselves, and right unless you accidentally go upon it because you're really trying to just find your way to Japan, which was a thing. I found my way into Japan, but yeah, you're unlikely to know those phrases unless you happen to be a geek about it. I did find copies of my Schoolhouse Rock stuff though. That was cool. The like. Yeah. They are filler words, but their technical term is a subordinating conjunction. They're filler. You don't. It's the same thing as. I mean, every language has them. Japanese has it in a lot of things, and I picked it up oddly from my kids. So eto ne and nandake are fillers. They're subordinate conjunctions. They don't connect anything specifically. So yeah. So you can do the nandake. 私はなんだっけ、ストアへ行きました。ね。That just it's like the thing. You can do the um. So I went to the store. You know. Oh yeah. That makes sense. Stance adverbs. Yeah, I mean, the cool thing about and congratulations, by the way, Bishimoto. But the cool thing about Duolingo is it is very good about getting sort of the hiragana and katakana down. Um, you get a little lost when you start working on kanji, and so that's a little bit different. For those of you who are not familiar with Japanese, Japanese has three written languages. And two of them are uh, the standard phonetic alphabet, and one of them is an ideographic alphabet. Yes, four if you count Romaji. So Romaji is just English letters, English letters. So instead of writing out, I could do this here, and I could do just do a new picture real quick, and we could discuss it because like that's a thing. If I were to write in Japanese, me. Actually, let's do this a different way. Japan, right? Right? Oh, I'm in the wrong freaking brush for this. Let's do this one. There we go. Japan. In Japanese, of course, Japan isn't Japan. It's Nihon. Right? So Nihon can either be spelled with the phonetic character ni and then the phonetic character hon and then hon, Nihon. Wait, that is not the phonetic character. What am I doing? What's my problem? Jeez. Right? You're sitting there going, what? Now all of a sudden I can't think of the phonetic character. That's right. We'll get there. So, yeah, it's ha. No, it's ho. It's definitely ho. So, you know what? We can do this one of two ways. Yep, that's what the problem is right there. That's all I needed to do. All right, so ho, nihon, right? So this is, I just put the crosses over the first part of the bar. It's not ha, it's ho. So this is ni, ho, and this is n. And this is their phonetic alphabet. It's called hiragana, right? And hiragana is how you write things out. Or you can write it out in kanji, which time it's ni, hon. And this means sun, and this means origin, or the origin of the sun, or as we say, the land of the rising sun, right? So that's one of the reasons why you get the nickname for Japan of land of the rising sun. If you do what they call furigana is where you take the characters ni and hon, and then you put above them that. And that puts the little teeny hiragana above there so you know how to read it. And the reason they do that is because you can use these in different ways, right? By itself, this character is actually pronounced he, right? But when you put it together with hon, it becomes ni, right? And so in the instance of this, it changes from he to ni. And that's called an onyomi and a kunyomi. And those are the readers that they are. What you really have is this. Traditionally speaking, Japanese had no written language. So in the 400s, 500s Common Era, the Chinese came over and gave them Chinese, but they mangled it and turned it into a phonetic language, which became ultimately hiragana and katakana. Then when the black ships came over in the 1500s, the Chinese brought Chinese over again, and they integrated it. And when they did, they integrated the Chinese, which is an ideographic language, with the Japanese, which was a phonetic language. And what they ended up with is you have either your Chinese reading or you have your Japanese reading. And that becomes one of those things. And that's why you get the onyomi and the kunyomi, which are the two different pronunciations of Japanese words. So Japan becomes Nihon, etc., etc., etc. That's hope. So it's one of the reasons. And then if you understand your Chinese languages, you can even break things further down, right? Because some characters, that's jin, right? Or person. It looks like a person walking, right? That's the idea. So it's supposed to look like a walking person, right? Or for example, why am I doing these wrong? Me is eye. So the eyeball, like this, which to some degree kind of looks like an eye on its side, right? You know, that makes some sense. Some of them are pretty straightforward. Yeah, absolutely. When I go to a Chinese restaurant, I usually can read the menus without any problems. I just can't say it. I can't speak it. I can't tell anybody, you know, because no matter what, it's always going to be kind of weird. No matter what, I'll pronounce it in Japanese and they won't know what I'm talking about. But I can take a good guess, right? Because some words are close, right? Because, for example, and I'm stopping for a minute just so I can. So it's ancient anime eyes. Yes. To speak is you, right? And you can even understand sort of the breakdown of this because this is Gucci, the mouth, right? So this is a, boy, my language just sucks, doesn't it? It's not trailing out like this. I just draw bad. So you have a mouth, right? So here's a mouth making noise, right? And that's to speak. Ew. If you're going to talk about a language, that is the character for 5 mouths making a noise, right? Because this is 5. And here's another mouth. So here's a mouth making sound. Here are 5 mouths making a sound. That's language. So sometimes the kanji actually make total sense if you break them down. And those are called radicals. That's the name of these pieces. So this is a radical and this becomes a radical on the left side to indicate what is going on the right side of kanji. And you get things that are consistent radicals. Like that's a gate, right? So when you use this radical, it's usually about entering, exiting, going through, things like that. The words that use this radical make some sense as to why they're using that. You know, you've got, for example, water, right? The actual character for water is this, but it's shortened to this when you use it as a radical. So when you have something like that, and then you have that, is it 1 or is it 2? Crap, I've forgotten now. That becomes ocean because it's traveling across what you see is the ocean. Now I've got to figure it out because I think I'm writing it wrong. This is why I'm glad to go back to college. we still in Japanese? We are. No, it's mother. That's why. So it's an extension of mother, is what they're trying to say down here. I don't have it set for anything that can actually read Japanese, which is fascinating. So 1, 2, 3, and then a roof over a field, which is what that actually turned out to be. It's a field, or it's a long field of water. That's what it is. Long field of water. So water, long field of water. Except that they're using a weird version of field, which is why I'm kind of curious whether we've got it wrong. For that matter, why is it not going to the correct language? I have translators that can actually read these. I don't know why we're having a problem with it. Because it's all the way at the bottom. There. And that way we can write umi next to umi, and it breaks it down. The problem is that I'm not sure if that's exactly field, because the kanji for field, and it's a rice field, which looks like a rice field, is usually read no, like noda, or da, because Noda was a city that was near where I lived. And so the da was ta. So if you hear people who are like Tanaka, that's ta, and then naka. So in the middle of a rice field. So someone's last name, family, they were farmers, so they farmed rice. So they were ta, and then naka, Tanaka, in the middle of a rice field. If it comes last, it becomes da. So I've had Okada and right, where Arabic is completely different. Our letters are not Arabic. It's just our numerals that are in Arabic. Our numbers are Arabic. The letters are Roman, which is why Japanese, these are called right here. These are called romaji. So it's Roman, Roma, G, and G is the word for character. G. So, which by itself is called bun, which is another one of those. In Japanese, this is pronounced bun, but if you put Roma in front of it, it becomes G, and it's read as character. So, it's fine. You didn't make a mistake. We all have to learn. We all have to learn. So, everybody has to learn. So, mizu, which is water, and this is no, that's so. Man, I'm having problems. So, mizu, right? Mizu means water, but by itself, it's read sui, like suika, which is a watermelon. And so it gets read kind of differently, and that's also its two different readings. Some kanji have up to 8 or 9 different readings, and you just have to know them all. It's one of the reasons why Japanese is hard to read, but not hard to write or to speak. Japanese is a far easier language to speak than it is to read. And that's one of those things. It's like English is a far harder language to speak than it is to read. You can read English pretty well without being able to speak it, because all of the complexity of our language is in the spoken part of it. Whereas in Japanese, the spoken part's simpler, but all of their complexity is in the written language, which means that when people say, "Oh, you can read and write in Japanese," that's amazing, and that's what they're headed for. Is that so? All right, guys, 11:01. I've actually got a meeting that I've got to go to, so I'm gonna tootle off to my meeting here in a second. Yes, subject, object, verb. In Japanese, the verb or the adjective always comes last, except when it doesn't, because all languages are like that. But for the most part, and another thing that I have a hard time with, Bishimoda, since we're talking about it, before we go, another thing I have a hard time with is that it, um, the subject is not always spoken. So in English, we're explicit about subject, right? This is my pen. The pen is black. I write with the pen. We have to keep using the word pen. But in Japanese, you don't have to do that. これはペンです。黒い。そして書きます。Right? I don't say pen again. 書いています。書いています。書きました。Right? I don't have to put the subject back in there. So if you miss the subject in the first sentence, you have to go, 何をしますか? 何をお話しますか? What are we talking about? What the hell's going on? Who are you people? So, yep. There's also, that's the other one. There are no pronouns. So there's no way, unless you explicitly use that woman or that man, it is very hard to determine whether we're talking about a male or a female. And I mean, that's only with humans. If we're talking about animals like George down here, I won't use a pronoun at all because it's neko, and it's always neko. If it was a female cat, it'd still be neko. You know, あの猫は本当に黒いですね。黒い色の猫ね. He's not listening to me ever. Yes-ish. Welcome to modern Japanese. When women use kare and boku, it comes across, right? It's all good. I got about one more minute, but real quickly before we go, kare and boku, when women use that, they sound butch. So it's not necessarily male anymore, but it does make them sound butch, like they're trying to pick a fight. They're trying to be macho. They're trying to be, you know what I mean? It gives them that feeling. When in school, I'd have girls that would do that, and I'd be like, those are the girls that are bullying other girls. I can tell because they're probably using that language to puff themselves up, to seem like they're meaner, to put more of a mean bend. So they're trying to sound tough. It's macho man. Yeah. But and when men do it, it's also comes across the same way. I mean, when men are doing it, it's like, really? So you think you're tough, So there's kind of that. It's a little different. Anyway, that's enough of my Japanese lesson for today. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope that I didn't lose Bradley, who was here earlier. I hope you can come back to us at some point in time. Of course, for all of you guys, I will be broadcasting again Sunday night from 9 to 11. Um, as I've been saying, kind of having a complicated, rough, um, yes, complicated, rough couple of months. We're doing a lot of breaking down of the house and stuff like that. So right now my schedule is kind of rough and I'm trying to get to be regular on it, but there are some problems. So if you don't catch me, I'll be back at the next sequence if I can. I try not to miss 2 shows in a row. So cool. Thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate it. It was good having you here. I hope you all got good work done. Thank you for distracting me a little bit. I kind of need a little bit of distraction today, so really do appreciate it. I'll see you all on Sunday. And as always, keep your eyes on the stars. Goodbye, people. Thanks.